What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Thank you for watching. Today we have a viewer suggested video idea, and this should be a good one because today we are testing $30 body armor from TEMU. So if you don't know, TEMU or TEMU, I'm not even sure how you pronounce it, is a website that is basically known for selling the cheapest version of everything that exists on planet Earth. They're not known for quality, but they are known for crazy low prices. And for that reason, I'm gonna go ahead and say, I do not recommend this armor for serious use. And I'm saying that before we even test it because I don't care what it stops. The quality control cannot be great with this stuff. Now, the viewer that recommended this video is Marcus from Anything Target. He does have a YouTube channel, go check him out. He said he tried these for himself and was pleasantly surprised with how well they performed. So he reached out and said he would like someone with a bigger collection to really put these things to the test. So that's what we're gonna do. Now, the description of this stuff is pretty interesting. Again, it was $30 on TEMU.com, which might be the cheapest body armor I've ever heard of. Definitely the cheapest armor we've ever tested on the channel. But it says it is a high density PEUD fabric panel. I'm not sure what PEUD is, but that's what it says. It's made out of level 3A, which means it's rated for handguns up to a 44 Magnum. We will definitely see about that. And it is straight out of the Yiwu Jinhong garment factory. I'm not saying that to be funny, that's actually what it says on the package. Now, before we get started, once again, I just want to reiterate, I do not recommend this stuff for serious use. This video is just for fun, basically to see what the world's cheapest body armor can actually stop. I think body armor is one of them things you should save up and get quality you can trust, and there's a lot of good NIJ certified companies out there. Premier Body Armor is one we've tested dozens of times. It's always worked well. There's a lot of good companies. My point is, if God forbid you ever need this stuff to work, you don't want to be questioning the quality of it. So that being said, I'm also glad there are affordable options, and if you don't ever plan on saving your money and you just want the cheapest stuff you can find, then I guess we'll see how this one performs. I will say it's a little thicker and heavier than other high-end 3A panels that we've tested. Not bad, it would still be comfortable to wear, but it is a little bulkier for sure. So I'm very curious to see how this thing performs. Let's find out. All right, guys, this is our setup. I have our body armor panel right here with some cardboard targets behind it that I duct taped together just to give it a slightly softer backstop, and then we have a cinder block behind holding everything up. All right, here we go. First up, we have the 22 long rifle. Pistol we're shooting is the Ruger Mark IV Light. World's cheapest body armor. Let's see what this stuff can stop. And there's our bullet impact from the 22 long rifle right there on the E. We flip it over, there is no exit hole. That's a good start. Let's step it up. Next caliber we got is the 380 ACP. Little James Bond Walther PPKS. Just did a full video on this one. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I love this pistol. Let's see if it stops it. That was a much harder bullet impact, but I think it stopped it. Let's go take a closer look. Did I tell you how much I love this pistol? All right, there is our cardboard backstop that fell off the table. And it looks like that is our 380 entrance hole, right there below the R. It definitely tore some of the fabric on the side. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is opened up. If we look at the back, there is no exit hole. So it stopped the 380, but that extremely cheap and thin fabric that's wrapped around this body armor is already split wide open. So the quality's starting to show already. And next up, we are gonna try the 9mm, shooting this one out of the LFA 2011 pistol. I wanna give a shout out to Live Free Armory for providing this one to the channel. We've had it quite a while now, and it's never let me down. As you all know, 2011s are not the most affordable pistols out there, and LFA has a pretty good one here for a lot less than some others we've tried. It's got a thick stainless bull barrel, metal frame, quality parts, silky smooth springs for easy manipulation. You can even do one-handed slide racks like that, which is pretty cool. Just an awesome gun. It's also been 100% reliable since day one, which is the second most important thing behind looking cool, which this one also has going for it. So I'll try to put their social media on this video. If you want, you can go check them out for yourself. Let's hit this body armor with a 9mm. That was quite the bullet impact. Let's go check it out. All right, our 9mm went in right there. Don't know if you can see the bullet hole. It is so bright out here with the snow that I can barely see the camera screen. But that is our 9mm entrance hole. If we flip it over, nothing came out the other side. It did deform this body armor quite a bit, and once again ripped open the other side of the plate. You can actually see that material in there where it caught the bullet and just bunched up like crazy. But it did stop it. I would say the 9mm is probably the most common handgun caliber in the world, and one that you are most likely to be shot with. So good to know it can stop it. All right, guys, this stuff is falling apart a little quicker than I thought it would, so I'm gonna skip the 45 ACP and stuff like that. Chances are if it stops a 9mm, it would probably stop a 45. We're gonna go ahead and go straight to the 12 gauge shotgun. This is a very powerful double-aught buckshot, and we're shooting it out of the Mossberg Shockwave. Hopefully some of these pellets don't go in already existing holes, but let's find out. Well, that was the hardest impact we've had by a mile. The body armor was ejected off that table with such force, it almost made it all the way back to me. And by the way, if you like the wood that's on this Shockwave, which almost everyone does because it looks amazing, it is from Wooks Outdoor. We have a discount code with them that you guys can use. I'll try to put that down below, and you can save a little bit of money. Just beautiful wood furniture, in my opinion. Now that was quite the bullet impact. It almost knocked our cinder block off the table, completely caved in our cardboard targets right there, and just yeeted the body armor like 5 feet off the table. So I believe we are looking at the back of it right now, and it completely fell apart, but I don't think anything went all the way through. Looks like the PEUD or whatever it's called just completely fell out. And even looking at the back of that, there are no exit holes. So it did stop the double-aught buckshot. Obviously it just completely fell apart on impact, but we had already shot it 3 or 4 times before that, and it was heavily compromised. So as with any soft body armor, that deformation looks painful. It probably wouldn't prevent broken bones and stuff like that. But most importantly, it did stop the projectiles, and I think it probably would save your life. Well, luckily for me, I did buy a second body armor panel because I kind of expected this to happen, but I want to save that for the last 2 or 3 big calibers that we're going to shoot. So I kind of pieced it back together. We've got the majority of it sitting up there. And next up, I want to try the 357 Magnum. This is a very powerful handgun round. Definitely getting near the top of what this thing can handle, I'm sure. So let's see if it stops it. Well, the fact that it got thrown off the table like that is a pretty good sign. Let's go check it out. I'm sure you can see in the slow-mo, I was aiming towards the bottom of our body armor because that's the only place that didn't have bullet impacts, and it looks like it did stop it. So that bulge right there on the back is from our 357 Magnum. And after a lot of work with these big stupid gloves on, I was finally able to retrieve the 357 Magnum, and there it is. Don't know if it's focusing for you guys, but you can actually still see the soft point on the front of that bullet. It is completely intact, obviously flattened out like crazy, but to my surprise, it stopped like halfway into that body armor, maybe even a little bit less. So it easily stopped the 357. All right, I have a brand new body armor panel on the table, same exact thing we've been shooting, and I honestly did not think we would make it this far. But to my surprise, we have finally arrived at the 44 Magnum. This is the biggest caliber that this armor is rated for, so let's see what happens. This is my Rossi Ranch Hand lever action 44 Magnum. It's got a pretty long barrel, so this is a much tougher test than it would be out of a little revolver. Plus you can do that. Let's see what it does. This is not the easiest gun to shoot, but I'm gonna try to put it right there towards the middle. That was intense. Let's take a look. Well, that is not a good sign. So that's the cardboard that was behind our body armor. And that's the first time I've seen damage even close to that. I mean, we have a hole that's blown all the way through. I don't see much on the cinder block other than a little bit of cardboard, so maybe it stopped it. Let's take a look. That is our entrance hole right below the A. Hopefully you can see it. And it did stop it. Wow. So it deformed the crap out of that body armor panel, but there is no exit hole. Just a massive bulge. Pause. Go ahead and set it up on the table. Give you guys a close-up look at it. There it is. It did stop it, but man, that would not feel good. And just so you know, that's not uncommon with soft body armor and bulletproof vests. Because it is soft, it does have a lot of back face deformation. And again, it's not gonna stop broken bones and stuff like that, but it absolutely did stop that .44 Magnum projectile. I'm surprised, not gonna lie. Okay, I got a couple more left. Next up, we have the 50AE out of the Desert Eagle. This is the world's most powerful semi-automatic handgun caliber. I think the .44 mag might be a harder round to stop, but this thing is an absolute beast. No doubt about it. Plus it makes a cool fireball. Let's see if it stops. What an absolute cannon. I love this thing. Well, looking at the cardboard, you can see it doesn't look like it did as much damage on the back, but when you look at the armor, it kind of tells a different story, so I'm really not sure. We got some fragments right there. You can see the entrance hole right there above the lettering. So I did space them out a little bit. And also on this foam panel that was on the back, you can see the .44 mag blew a giant hole through it, whereas the 50AE put a little dent right there. But when we look at the Kevlar or the PEUD material, it has a lot more deformation from that 50AE. I assume the .44 mag is just going faster, so it penetrated deeper into the fabric and came closer to getting through, but the 50 just absolutely balled this stuff up. I gotta find this bullet. It's never easy getting bullets out of this stuff. That's it. The Desert Eagle 50AE bullet. Once again, completely stayed intact. Looks like the hollow point is kind of plugged. And it did flatten out quite a bit, but man, that is a heavy chunk of lead. All right, guys, I went ahead and taped our body armor back together because I have one more caliber that we have got to shoot at this thing. This is my brand new 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum revolver. As if the long barrel version isn't painful enough, I went ahead and grabbed the snubby as well. So this should suck. The bullet we're gonna shoot is a 275 grain Corbon with probably the deepest hollow point cavity I've ever seen. So lightweight, screaming fast. It should be a pretty tough test for that armor. And my wrist. This is my very first shot with the new hand cannon. Let's see how it goes. I love it. I hope you guys could see the fireball because I definitely did in real time. That's a bad little round. Let's go check it out. Well, looking at our cardboard, that is the first one besides the .44 Magnum that actually put a hole in it. Don't know if that's a bullet hole or not. Doesn't look like it. And once again, on the cinder block, we just have some cardboard. Take a look at the front. You can see it went straight through that duct tape that I used to put this thing back together. And there's obviously some holes, but it stopped that 500 Magnum. Oh my goodness. So that is definitely where the bullet went. Everything's so white out here, it might be hard for you guys to see it, but I mean, it's like an 1.5 inch bulge just protruding out the back. And once again, there it is. The 500 I feel right there, it is so close to making it all the way through that thing. Like a couple more layers and it was coming out the other side. And just to give you a comparison, that is the 44 Magnum. So obviously that one was a soft point, it just completely flattened out, whereas the 500 Magnum didn't really deform very much at all. I thought it would probably stop most calibers up to the 44 Magnum. I thought maybe the 44 would sneak through. I definitely did not expect it to stop a 500 Magnum, specifically that 500 Magnum. So it did come dangerously close to getting through, like 2 or 3 more layers, and it probably would have poked out the back, and maybe a heavier 500 would have actually passed through it. But either way, you can't deny the results. That is kind of impressive for a $30 soft body armor panel. Again, I want to reiterate, I just can't in good faith recommend this to people because I don't know what the quality control is going to be, where it's even coming from, you know, stuff like that. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to say that it wouldn't work after what we just saw today. So I still recommend, you know, saving up some money and getting good high quality armor you can trust, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't impressed and surprised with the results that we saw today. Wow. Well, I didn't bring anything bigger. I thought the 500 Magnum would be enough to get through it. So I guess we're gonna go ahead and wrap this video right here. The body armor's pretty much destroyed anyway. I don't think we could put any more rounds on it even if I wanted to. But yeah, I thought that 500 Magnum specifically would be a really tough round for it to stop because it is lightweight and fast. And as we all know, speed is what defeats body armor. I will say the 500 Magnum was dangerously close to getting through, like 2 or 3 more layers, and it probably would have passed through, but it didn't, and ultimately that's what matters. So there's a couple other rounds I would have liked to try, like a bigger, heavier 500 Magnum, or maybe a 5.7 by 28. Those are tiny little fast bullets that are kind of known for zipping through armor. So that would be a good one to try, but realistically, I tried just about every caliber you could think of, so it did pretty well. Again, I do not recommend this armor. I think it's better to save up your money and get something you can trust, but you saw the results and you can do with that information whatever you would like. 60 bucks for a front and back bulletproof vest is a pretty hard deal to beat. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know down in the comments below. As always, hit that like button for me, guys. I would really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.